Good morning, everybody. Sports Week, Sports Week, Sports Week. It's July 22nd, and finally, since the very first week of March, sports are back. All those podcasts, like my own, crawling through the mud, getting to the other side, talking about anything and everything, from hypotheticals that had nothing to do with sports to coaching carousels that didn't exist, anything and everything, we're back. Today, we've got NBA, but it's a little bit different. They're doing scrimmages, and they're going to be doing every one of the 22 teams that are in the bubble. They're going to be playing at least 3 scrimmages. So the minimum's 3, and I believe the maximum's 4, and that's only if need be. These scrimmages are not going to count towards records whatsoever, but it's more of a preseason before we get into the seeding round. And these scrimmages are only going to be 10-minute quarters instead of 12-minute quarters. So you're looking at 40-minute games instead of your typical 48-minute games. Now, the real deal for baseball is back tomorrow. You've got Washington and Yankees, and you've got Dodgers and Giants. Look for a clean Yankees-Dodgers sweep. Just by far the better teams. But what I love about this shortened season for baseball is that it's whoever gets hot quick, because usually in a 162-game season, the cream rises to the crop. It folds out in the wash. I mean, if somebody has a streak of 10 or 12 games and then they fade out after that, that's how it goes. But if you have a 10-game streak now, that's almost 15 to 20% of the season. So you're going to be looking at such more of a boost than you ever would have gotten before. That's number one. Number 2, the Pittsburgh Blue Jays. So, Toronto, like we mentioned on Monday, Toronto said no way, Jose, to being able to play games in Toronto. So, what were the Blue Jays to do? They said, all right, well, we got to go to the continental U.S. for this one. And they had partnered with PNC Park in Pittsburgh, a couple of reasons. And thank you to my wonderful co-host, Matt, for bringing this up. For 2 big reasons. Same time zone, so you're not going to have any acclimation problems, and there are also only 2-day overlaps. Not even saying time, but let alone days when the teams will be playing games at PNC Park together. So they'll be able to figure out those problems themselves. Those 2 days won't really matter to me, even if one has to do morning, one has to do afternoon. I don't think that those 2 teams that they're going to be playing really care, quite frankly, at all. It's going to be great for them. And this is huge for Toronto because it shows that, just like that, how quickly these teams can work together. And, of course, Pittsburgh wants that money boost as well. Number 3, Minnesota Timberwolves are for sale for a cool $1.2 billion. Now, while you might be thinking to yourself, the Wilpons with the Mets are laughing themselves to sleep just thinking about only $1.2 billion. Well, they don't own a TV contract on top of that. They don't own a television network, and this is all that they own, is just the Timberwolves. So, a couple of things to take note of here is that last night, Kevin Garnett said that he and Glenn Taylor are going to be forming a team to be putting a bid together. All Kevin Garnett wants to do is to be able to continue to help the city of Minnesota, city of Minneapolis, and the people of Minnesota that he loves. The second side of this, out of the 2 that have already emerged, I mean, it's only 24 hours since we've known that the team is for sale, maybe 30 hours. So the two people coming out already is a really big number. The second one is the Wilf family. Now, I did not know who the Wilf family was before yesterday, but they own the Vikings. So they're going to try to plant their flag in other teams. They already have the capital, most likely, to buy that out right now, but they need to make sure that it's liquid to be able to do so. Number 3, want to give a huge shout out to Jorge Lopez. The man is doing the Lord's work. Not only did he beam Altuve yesterday, he went back-to-back and beamed Bregman. If you don't think that the players forgot, I hope you didn't think that the players forgot, because there's no way in hell that they did, nor should they. And you know what? These guys are getting off way too scot-free for one of the biggest cheating scandals of all time. The MLB really only cares when you bring technology into it. That's why the Red Sox got pinned for the Apple Watch gate, and it's why you see all these spy gates coming out, even during preseason. because the MLB really only cares when technology is involved. They know that there's going to be a guy sitting on second, and if the pitch count is getting too high, then he'll be able to see what's happening and then relay it to the batter. That's just part of the strategy of baseball. But when you're using unfair advantages, and I can't believe I'm saying this, a trash can is apparently an unfair advantage. So the Astros are getting off way too easy this season. And I hope the fans don't forget next season, because that's when they'll have their time to shine. But for right now, we have to rely on absolute saints like Jorge Lopez to do the work for us. And no, Jorge Lopez did not get ejected from the game. I don't even know if he got a warning. I watched both plate appearances. It didn't even seem that he got a warning. The umpire he knew exactly what was happening. Plus, it's still training camp, or they're calling it summer camp in the MLB. Let's see. I already mentioned the NBA scrimmage. I'm trying to go down my list because I actually have about 7 or 8 things. I'm just deciding which ones are going to get an honorable mention or not here. Antonio Brown retiring. Antonio Brown and Conor McGregor are the same person when it comes to retirement. This is the 3rd time AB's retired. Once in 2018 and twice in 2019. Those 2 times in 2019 were within 45 days of each other. So it's not real. Don't think it's real. He is one of the greatest talents, and he knows it. And he's trying to use this to his advantage. It's just him trying to stay in the media, because I promise you, teams hate this shit. They don't want anything to do with it. Okay. We have got Alyssa Nakken, and I'm so sorry if I butchered that name, with the Giants. You'll see her tomorrow as well. She's become the first woman to become a base coach in the MLB. You'll see her out there tomorrow. She's been doing so during summer camp. You're going to see her for the real deal tomorrow when they take on the Dodgers as well. Dr. Fauci tossing out the first pitch. America was somehow the only country to make Fauci into a political statement, whereas other countries were actually taking his advice instead of Americans. But regardless, tomorrow Fauci will be throwing out the first pitch for the Yankees-Nats game. I'm running through all of my... Keep an eye on the NBA scrimmages, by the way, because what's really important about this, Zion still isn't back yet. And so it's a minimum 10 days in quarantine for him. And let's see, today's the 22nd. That means that if he doesn't show up today, then he'll be missing the first games. And that's, you know what, that's okay. Because family comes first. We all get that. We all sympathize with that. Unfortunately, the people of Twitter don't. So I'll keep you all updated on Friday if we see him back. We also saw Pat Beverly leave the bubble as well. So that'll take away from the Clippers' huge defensive core and a reason why people are still picking them to win the championship. My futures bets are still locked in. They never left, which I'm very grateful for. This has been the Hi5, Hi7, Hi8. I can't believe I actually forgot this. There's no NFL preseason this year. There's your number 8. No NFL preseason this year. Certain players like it because barely any people watch it. The risk of injury is much higher, and there's nothing at stake. I mean, that's bananas, to say the least. So what we need to take into account now is, are they planning on adding an extra game? And if so, are they going to be adding bye weeks? Because this is the last year, this is the last season with only, I should say, a 16-game season. So after the season, you'll see 17 games, and we'll go from there. But you'll also be seeing a lot more records broken in that time too, as well. So no NFL preseason, but you will get a lot of role-playing guys that don't get a chance to shine. That's okay. I do think that the teams are smart enough to take that into consideration. Well, smart enough is a relative term. I've been wrong on that before. So this has been your High 8 for July 22nd, 2020. Please, I'll obviously like, subscribe, comment. We do this for you. We want to know what you want to hear. This is meant to be kind of a quick, rapid-fire introduction to our weekly podcast that I do with my co-host, Matt. So what we want to figure out are the things that you like, the things that we can do to keep evolving, keep getting better. Let us know. All right. Please find us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you find podcasts. We'll see you Friday.